Welcome to the Mind Spark, bringing you the latest news from around the world, the Nile. The name conjures images of mystery and grandeur. It is the world's longest river, stretching over 6,650 kilometers through Africa. Its journey begins with two great sources, the steady White Nile from the Great Lakes and the powerful silt-laden Blue Nile from Ethiopia. These rivers meet in Khartoum, Sudan, merging into a single artery that has shaped Egypt for millennia. Flowing north through the Sahara, the Nile carves a narrow, fertile valley, a lifeline in a sea of desert. For Egypt, the Nile is everything: water, history, and the soul of its people. Without it, there would be no pyramids, no pharaohs, no civilization as we know it. The river passes ancient temples, bustling cities, and finally fans out into the lush Nile Delta before reaching the Mediterranean. For centuries, its predictable floods brought prosperity and dictated the rhythm of life. To understand Egypt is to understand the Nile, a bond of absolute dependence. The story of Egypt is the story of the Nile, and its future is tied to the fate of this magnificent river. Today, that future faces unprecedented challenges. The ancient Egyptians called their land Kemet, the Black Land, after the rich soil the Nile left behind. Beyond this fertile strip lay the deadly red land of the desert. The Nile's annual flood was a divine gift, transforming barren earth into fields of abundance. Life revolved around the river's three seasons: Akhet, flood; Peret, growing; and Shemu, harvest. The flood brought silt, renewing the land and making Egyptian agriculture the envy of the ancient world. After the waters receded, farmers planted wheat, barley, and flax in the moist, fertile earth. This agricultural surplus fed armies, priests, and the builders of Egypt's monumental wonders. The wealth from the Nile's bounty fueled advances in writing, mathematics, and governance. The harvest season was a time of work and celebration, as grain was stored and taxed to support the kingdom. The river's reliability shaped Egyptian religion, society, and their sense of cosmic order. The Nile was more than water. It was the architect of civilization and the silent partner in every aspect of life. Its cycles gave Egypt stability, prosperity, and a legacy that endures to this day. For millennia, the Nile's flood was both blessing and threat, sometimes too high, sometimes too low. The dream of controlling the river became reality in 1970 with the completion of the Aswan High Dam. This colossal structure created Lake Nasser, ending the cycle of flood and drought and generating hydroelectric power. The dam brought security, multiple harvests, and electricity to millions. But it also stopped the annual flood, trapping fertile silt behind the dam. Egyptian farmers now rely on chemical fertilizers, raising costs and environmental concerns. The Nile Delta, once replenished by silt, is eroding as the Mediterranean encroaches and saltwater contaminates farmland. The dam solved old problems but created new ones, fundamentally altering the river's ecology. The natural cycle that sustained Egypt for thousands of years was broken in a few decades. Egypt gained control over the Nile's flow, but at a significant environmental price. The nation continues to grapple with the dam's unintended consequences. Upstream, Ethiopia is building its own giant, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, or GERD, on the Blue Nile. For Ethiopia, GERD is a symbol of hope, promising electricity and development for millions. The dam could double Ethiopia's power output, lifting millions from poverty. But for Egypt, almost entirely dependent on the Nile, GERD is a source of anxiety. The speed of filling its vast reservoir could drastically reduce water reaching Egypt, especially in drought years. Negotiations between Ethiopia, Egypt, and Sudan have failed to produce a binding agreement. The GERD is now a flashpoint for regional tension, a puzzle of water rights and national ambitions. The future of the Nile is increasingly shaped by upstream decisions. Egypt's population has exploded from 20 million in 1950 to over 110 million today. Every person needs water, pushing Egypt below the international water poverty line. Agriculture consumes about 80% of Egypt's Nile water, and new farmland projects demand even more. The balance between feeding the nation and conserving water is growing precarious. Pollution compounds the crisis. Agricultural runoff, industrial waste, and untreated sewage all flow into the Nile. Water quality is declining, threatening health and ecosystems. The river is being asked to do more for more people, even as its quality suffers. The days of the Nile as an inexhaustible resource are over. Every drop is now precious, and competition for water is fierce. The ancient river that once sustained a civilization is now under immense strain. Egypt faces a future where water can no longer be taken for granted. Climate change brings new threats to the Nile. Models predict more extreme weather. Droughts in Ethiopia could reduce the Blue Nile's flow, while erratic rains could cause devastating floods. The river's once predictable rhythm is giving way to uncertainty, making planning and management difficult. The Nile Delta, home to nearly half of Egypt's population, is especially vulnerable. Rising sea levels erode the delta, while the Aswan Dam blocks new sediment from replenishing it. Saltwater intrusion contaminates soil and freshwater, reducing crop yields. Farmers in the delta are already seeing their land become too salty to farm. The delta is literally shrinking, squeezed between a less reliable river and a rising sea. Egypt's agricultural heartland is at risk, threatening food security for millions. The foundation of Egypt's prosperity is under threat from forces both natural and man-made. Egypt is responding to water scarcity with innovation and technology. Massive desalination plants are being built along the coasts, turning seawater into fresh water. This frees up Nile water for agriculture and helps meet growing demand. The country is overhauling its irrigation systems, replacing wasteful methods with efficient drip and sprinkler systems. Lining canals with concrete prevents water loss, and farmers are encouraged to grow less water-intensive crops. Egypt is also a leader in water recycling, with huge treatment plants like Bahr el-Bakar turning wastewater into irrigation for new farmland. Public campaigns promote water conservation, urging citizens to fix leaks and use water wisely. Farmers are being trained in efficient practices to stretch every drop. These efforts are expensive and challenging, but essential for survival. Egypt is racing against time to secure its water future. Innovation is now a matter of national survival. The Nile flows through 11 countries. Its fate is a shared responsibility. The GERD crisis shows that no nation can manage the river alone. True water security depends on diplomacy, collaboration, and mutual benefit. Instead of conflict, countries could work together on projects to increase water supply and share resources. A regional power grid could link Ethiopia's electricity to Egypt and Sudan, fostering economic ties and peace. Protecting the river's biodiversity requires international teamwork. Pollution and habitat loss know no borders. By treating the Nile as a living ecosystem, not just a resource to divide, all can benefit. The river's future hangs in the balance. It can be a source of conflict or a catalyst for cooperation. The choice is up to the leaders and people of the Nile Basin. The Nile has given life for millennia. Now, humanity must work together to ensure it continues to do so.